Welcome back to Guitar Search Saturdays. My name's Shane. I'm being assisted by Rhiannon today behind the camera, so thanks a bunch to her for helping with this episode. We're heading back to Sky Music, which was episode 10 that I did undercover. They didn't know I was filming in the shop at the time, and the video quality was almost unwatchable, but being that it was a fun new series, I tried to make it work. So it'll be great being able to show you not only how much great stuff is at the shop, but being able to go back and do it properly with good camera equipment, because yeah, there's no more seasick video footage for this one. This should be awesome. So massive thanks to Sky Music for letting us do this. I really appreciate it. And if you want to check them out, I'll leave links to them below. I actually borrow like 90% of what you see on the channel from them, and then I take it back. They've been awesome enough just to let me go in, film in the shop for the keys to the Guitar Shop series, or to borrow whatever I like. They just say, here's the keys, go grab whatever you like and review it. I was like, done. So it's been great. And in today's video, you're going to see hopefully a great walkthrough, and if you enjoy it, please leave a thumbs up and all that stuff. This is a bit of a different format for Guitar Search Saturdays. It's a bit more like it was in the early days, mixed with, I think, better production value. So I hope you like it. And thank you also to the Patreon crew, subscribers, channel members, everybody who supports the channel. And if we get this video to 1,000 thumbs up, that'd be awesome. Let's do it. Sky Music's located in Clayton in Melbourne, Australia. It's about 20 minutes east of the city. So if you're here visiting for whatever reason and you're into guitar shops, go check out these guys. Fender Custom Shop wall, one of the best in Melbourne, hands down. One of the cool things about this shop is they got heaps of lefties, and that's how I get to demo so many. And there's another new one right here. This is a 60s Telecaster. It's a custom shop from Fender. Nice worn neck, seafoam green style body with sort of beautiful like relic lines going through it as well. We get the old school 3-saddle bridge here. This is a very typical 60s one that you'll usually find the 50s had more of a brass look, but these have almost like a screw thread going through them to help align the strings. It's rusted and dirty looking. Let's give it a go. So aside from the custom shop wall, we've also got a whole bunch of really cool made in Mexico and US Strats, Teles, and all kinds of Fender guitars. And they've got a Kenny Wayne Shepherd here, which is something I haven't seen before. So we're going to take a look at this up close, see what it's like. Ash body, so it's nice and light, which is awesome. We get these beautiful block inlays on the fretboard. This early 60s neck is quite slim, definitely not as chunky as I would have expected. We get the vintage tuners up the top here, which look really nice, and sort of like a translucent body. Super high gloss neck, for those who like that. Probably a tad on the sticky side, but that will probably wear out with time. But yeah, beautiful guitar. Binding along the edges as well. And overall, great weight. Like if I was a right-handed player, I'd give it a go. Beautiful. Another guitar I wanted to check out was this. This is a Fender Custom Shop 59 Stratocaster in Fiesta Red, Dr. Rick's favorite color, if you know him on the channel. And it is relicked as well, so again, this probably won't visually be for everybody, but I'm a huge Knopfler fan, and he played a red Strat for many, many years and probably still does. And I'm gonna give this one a shot. I'm a big fan of these single coil pickups that don't have any noise cancelling positions when you go into the in-between positions. It just has a little bit more attack on the note, at least, you know, to my ear and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, single ply pick guard. We get rusted saddles back here as well. So they've gone all out with the representation of it being, you know, an old or an aged Strat. I'll flip it over so you can see the back of the tuners here, which are also slightly rusted. When it comes to the neck, again, you get that frictionless feel. They sand it off, and whatever they do to it, it just feels really beautiful under the hand. So yeah, if you haven't picked one of these up, give them a go. Favorite budget guitars ever, and I've reviewed the same guitar probably 3 times over the last 5 years, is this. This is a Yamaha Pacifica 112, and it's covered in wood chips from something here. I'm not sure what's going on. They must be doing some work upstairs. But these are awesome if you're a beginner or an intermediate guitar player. These are such an awesome guitar for their price. You get good quality pickups. The pots feel good. You also get a humbucker in the bridge, which means nearly every position on this is hum cancelling. So you get a humbucker. When you're using these 2 pickups, it's hum cancelling. When you're using these 2 pickups, it's hum cancelling. So you definitely get a lot of good options. And these are really lightweight. I know pros in Melbourne who are full-time gigging musicians who use these at venues they don't want to take another guitar out to. And they sound amazing. So yeah, value for money. These are some of the best out there. Up next, we're going to check out some of these PRS guitars. The first walkthrough I did of this shop, I called this the $1 million wall because it was probably at the time $1 million worth of PRS guitars just in this section alone. So I'll walk you through and show you a couple of the different ones here. Let's start by taking a look at the PRS SE Custom 24. I own one of these in Trampus Green that's made in Korea. Since then though, they're now moved to Indonesia. So there's a few things that makes this really playable. We get 24 frets and really easy high fret access, 2 humbuckers that you can also coil tap with this in the up position. Not the greatest tone in the split coil mode, but you know, it's enough to get you by. And they're just super lightweight and very functional guitars. Out of all the guitars I own, I actually play this far more than any of the others when I'm actually doing gigs because it's light, it's comfortable, and it offers very little fight in terms of playability, which means it just is a lot easier to play than most of my other guitars. And I think the look of them are quite nice as well, although this one is like a charcoal style color. You know, my Trampus Green, as soon as I had a chance to play a lefty one of these, I jumped on it, and this is a lefty. All right, this is at the opposite end of the spectrum. This is a US-made PRS McCarty 594 10 top. These are the kind of guitars that when I take them off the wall, I'm real careful with. I think Dr. Rick actually owned one of these at one point. These humbuckers are some of the best you can get in any double humbucker guitar. They really do sound great. I know the top of this has that very 80s sort of style to it, but it is quite nice with the gold hardware mixed in there as well. We get a nice chunky neck, so very reminiscent of a LP or a Les Paul style electric with that whole single cut design, but beautiful guitar, way out of my price point, but yeah, if you've got some money to burn, check it out. So I'm standing amongst the massive Gibson wall here, which we've showcased on a number of different Keys to the Guitar Shop videos. I'll link them below if you haven't seen that series. This is the Murphy Lab 57 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top in heavy relic. So if we take a look at this up close, you can see it is battered to hell. Now, these particular guitars are the highest of the high end. So these are a custom shop Gibson, which means they got the Gibson price and then a little bit extra. So yeah, these are super expensive. Interestingly enough, even under the light here, and I'm not sure how it's coming up on camera, but it has a green look to it. So it's kind of like the gold top that's aged in that way as well. So the back of the guitar is also heavy relicked, but not too over the top, unlike the top. So yeah, it looks like you would expect a guitar to look at this particular age. The neck also has that look as well. Part of it is kind of smooth to the touch and other parts have a high gloss. And then you also can feel all the dings and imperfections, especially in this area here. So yeah, I guess the benefit of a guitar like this, if you're used to buying a high-end Gibson, for example, is, you know, if you did knock this or it fell and you added an extra ding to it, it probably wouldn't matter that much. So that's what's cool about the relic guitars. Whether you like them or not, let me know in the comment section. The Murphy Lab stuff does look really beautiful up close in person, but it is a really particular type of audience that would want this, being that it's such a high-end guitar in terms of price, and you know, it's obviously visual stylings. Occupational health and safety risk right here. That's what happens when you're a short ass. All right. This is the Ibanez AS2000H, which is made in Japan. This isn't the guitar I thought it was. It's actually one called the Artstar, which is far more expensive than some of the ones that I've seen in the past. So yeah, this is similar build quality to that of something like a made in Japan Tokai or any other sort of high-end Japanese guitar with the price point to match. In Australia, these come in at roughly $4,000, so they're very, very expensive, but very beautiful. Gold hardware, which looks awesome. We get a three-way toggle switch here, and also the ability to coil tap the pickups by using this switch. I'm assuming that's what it is. I haven't plugged this in to give it a go, but very, very beautiful. Nice big neck as well. It has a block down the center, which will help it sort of avoid feedback at louder volumes. And these killer inlays as well, and a beautiful headstock. Check that out. Here's something I don't see every day. This is an Eddie Van Halen electric guitar. These are selling out like nobody's business. All around the world after he passed away, everyone was buying these up. And there was a lot of price inflation on the secondhand market, so it's great to actually see one in person. While this has a neck pickup, it's actually a dummy pickup. You only get a humbucker in this guitar, so it's quite different to a regular Strat. Get a Floyd Rose back here. We get one control, which is very, very different. But one of the things that immediately feels great about this is the neck. It's completely worn and it's got a really dry finish, very different to a satin. It actually feels like someone has just sanded it down, so that's super cool. And yeah, Floyd Rose, while it's not something I really look for on a guitar, you know, I can see the appeal of this, and I know there's plenty of fans of the EVH guitars out there. Made in Mexico, nice and light as well. So yeah, beautiful guitar. There it is. This is the Brad Paisley signature Telecaster from Fender. It's made in Mexico, so one of the cool things about that is it doesn't cost anywhere near as much as what it would if it was made in the US. I'm a big fan of Brad. I've stolen a couple of his licks over the years, but yeah, just great player, great singer, great songwriter. But I think the best thing about this, other than the sparkle relic look, is the fact it's the lightest guitar in the shop. There's not a guitar that comes close to this. Even the baby guitars, those little tiny half-size ones, aren't as light as this. So for a hardcore Tele fan who likes a big neck as well, this is just an absolute no-brainer. And they've also relicked the ashtray in here as well. So they've rusted it out a little bit, which I think actually looks pretty cool. It's the first time I've noticed that up close, actually. But it's shocking just how light this is. If you haven't picked one of these up before, give it a shot. It feels great in the hand, and it also looks super cool. This is the Fender James Burton Telecaster. It has a maple fingerboard, and this color is called Red Paisley Flames. As you can see, it's very eye-catching. Interestingly enough, this is more like a Strat than it is a Telecaster, shape aside. We get 3 specially designed James Burton pickups. We get a 5-way Strat Tele pickup switch and an S1 switch, giving us more tonal options. This is definitely one of the most interesting guitars on the wall. So this is the amp room that I borrow all the amps for the channel, and right behind me here is one that I showcased probably about 6 months or so ago, right after it came out. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one from Fender. They let me borrow one. This is the Fender Tone Master Super Reverb, which is based on one of my favorite amps of all time. So there's a couple of things to take note of when it comes to the Fender Tone Master amps. These are completely digital, so while that may not be for everybody, I bet you'll get a kick out of the fact they're nowhere near as heavy as the original Super Reverb. I used to love my original Super Reverb, but as you get older, they get heavier. So I feel like, you know, if you're gonna be getting an amp like this, they handle pedals well enough that I don't think most people will know the difference. The only exception to that is that clean boost pedals don't really push the front end the same way as it would on the original. But other than that, these really do sound beautiful. While we do get a dedicated acoustic room, this is a very small sample of the amount of acoustics that Sky Music actually stock. There's walls and walls of acoustics. It's insane. If you're a big fan of how many electrics they almost have just as many acoustics. This beautiful looking acoustic guitar is the Epiphone Master built Excelente. When I first saw this, I was sure it was a Gibson. Not only do we get beautiful detailing on the scratch plate, the cloud fretboard inlays look stunning, and I've never seen another acoustic guitar from Epiphone with this headstock. The Excelente acoustic guitars were produced between 1963 and 1970, and at the time only 139 of them were made. This is easily one of my favourite acoustic guitars that I saw at Sky Music. Here we have the effects pedal lineup. There has to be 500 unique pedals in the store at any one time. It's insane. They have brands like Fender, MXR, Strymon, Vox, Ibanez, Maxon, Boss, you name it. If it's a popular brand, they've got it. Sky Music also supports some local builders, and one of which I saw was the UME over Unity. And that wraps up another Guitar Search Saturday. A huge thanks again to Sky Music for letting us do this walkthrough. And if you enjoyed the new style of video, please let me know in the comments section below. I've booked in more Guitar Search Saturdays for 2022, and some of which will be overseas, starting on the next episode. Fingers crossed. A massive thanks again to the Patreon crew, channel members, and everyone who's subscribed to the channel. If you want to help support the show, there's t-shirts linked below. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.